RotoGrinders. This is Card Stock After Lock. You guys know us from daily fantasy stuff, gambling stuff as well too. But this is the one show we set aside for sports cards, sometimes Top Shots. Today we're talking sports cards, talking cardboard, and leading the conversation here, it's Will Priester. You guys know him better as Chief Justice. Chief, what's going on, dude? You ready to talk some sports cards?
Absolutely, man. I'm pretty excited about this show. It's just, we got a little intimate setting yet again, just Will and the Dean Meister. We're going to be poking around market movers a little bit. Speaking of market movers, head on over to sportscardinvestor.com where you can use the beautiful market movers tool. Use the promo code GRINDERS. That's going to get you 20% off of your first payment. And that's 20% off the month or the year. If you use the 20% for the month, you do not get 20% for the year, people. Make sure you get the most bang for your buck. Use the promo code GRINDERS, 20% off that first payment. SportsCardInvestor.com. That's the tool that is market movers. And we're going to be showing that off today. So, Dean, I'm excited. You'll get to ask some questions. We'll get to look at some of your players, look at some of my players. I think it's going to be extremely fun.
Yeah, we're going to do a bunch of screen sharing. Like you said, we're going to be showing off that market movers tool there at SCI, Sports Card Investor, 20% off your first payment. Like you said, for a month or for a year, well, better value for the year. Assuming you're going to be using it, yeah, for sure, have at it. And we're going to be testing the overall pulse of the market. And we're going to be jumping around as far as sports too. Obviously NFL right around the corner, basketball is winding down, MLB right in the thick of it, All-Star game right around the corner as well. Your general thoughts, and I don't know if it varies depending on the sports. What I've learned from this show, from hosting this show, from asking questions is, when it's the off season, players are a little cooler. When it's the in season, the players that are doing well are hot, and people are anticipating things as well as far as championships and yada yada. So the general pulse of the market, does it vary based upon what sport we're talking about?
Well, I think a little bit. Which in terms of NBA, and I think we may see this as we poke through market movers a little bit, a lot of times, and I think we saw this a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to get into who it was because I've got another piece of content coming out real soon that's going to highlight some guys that have kind of fallen off the face of the earth. So I'm going to try to avoid those guys. But overall, what I will say is, especially in NBA or any other sport, as people get eliminated from the playoffs, card prices tend to shift downward a little bit, right? Because people are now saying, okay, the price is climbing. Maybe they have a chance. It climbs a little more. And then they don't make it. They get put out and they're like, okay, well, let me try to sell. And what happens is people will try to, let's say, undercut the market, right? So it was trending up. And yes, it did get hot. That particular player hit a bubble price. Let's say the bubble price was $200. And now that they're out of the playoffs, people are going to say, oh, it's at 200, but they're out. I can sell for 150 and go ahead and move it really quick. And then the next, they see it selling at 150. Everybody goes down to 150. Then somebody else says, oh, it's at 150. Let me get 120. And then they get back to kind of a normal price point. That's NBA, MLB, football. Well, I don't want to say as much about golf because golf is so close to year round now. But that's kind of the cycle of what it looks like with players. And I think it's, that's why I get really excited as people start getting eliminated, because I do feel like there's this imaginary line where it's like you see it, it goes down a little more, and you're just kind of like playing double dutch. Like, hey, when do I get in? When do I get in? When do I get in? And finally, maybe it bottoms out a little bit and you decide to hop in. So that's kind of the state of the market. It's no different than winter clothing, Dean. If you think about it like that, sweatshirts with zippers and hoodies, they're going to be a lot cheaper right now when it's hot, or at the beginning of spring or summer where, the clothing stores are trying to move those items. So, you may be able to get that $100 coat or $100 hoodie, if you will, in Dean's case, for $20 or so, right? And that's, it's the cyclical turn of the market. And so we always want to look for opportunities to pounce.
Yeah, so I want to jump from sport to sport and ask you about some specific players and see what you can show off here as far as the market movers tool. But it looks like, I'm not sure if this is being shown off right now. Are you showing off what's going on the last 7 days? Did you want to kind of feature this? And we have a smorgasbord of sports in there. And some players that are just flat out, where Sammy Sosa seen a bump and Chipper Jones, he had a big week apparently. People want some Chipper Jones. What do you want to show off for the people here?
Well, the first thing is I think this, and this is the cool part of market movers, where as we pull it up, we can see price movements by player, Dean. So this isn't even card specific. This is player specific. And so when you pull it up, I always want to see what PSA 10s are looking like. PSA 10s are kind of king around the cardboard space, as you all know. So when we pull it up, we look at the last 7 days. We see that Wendell Carter Jr., of all people, is up 73.96%. Now, that doesn't mean that he's selling for $500. I mean, as we can see, his min sale was $15.50. His max sale was $89.95. An average sale of $34.86. That was out of 9 different sales, 3 different cards. But we see, hey, he's up 73.96%. If we click this little arrow here, what we will discover, if it will open, and it should open, there we go, we'll get to see those specific cards, Dean. So as we look here, we'll see that the base Prism and a PSA 10, right, 362 population, that one is up. Oh, screen's moving a little slow there. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, we're back now. I'm going to get this up. Here we go. So Wendell Carter, he's up 93.7% in the 2018 Prism base, right? And then he's up 73% in the Prism Silver. And then the red, white, and blue, no change. And that's what's going to give us that average of 73.96. So that's kind of some of the cool things that you'll see in the tool here. I'm going to collapse Wendell Carter Jr.
Just and why, out of curiosity? I mean, obviously he's been eliminated, was not in the playoffs, was traded to Orlando. And also, I guess the percent change, it's easier to be a bigger number when your price is not a big number. So maybe that has something to do with it as well, because it's not a big asking price, so it doesn't take much to really move the percentage a bunch. Is that what's going on here? What has Wendell Carter Jr. done in the last week that I'm not aware of?
Correct. I definitely think that's one of the things. The other thing is he's probably a little bit too cheap. And so what's probably happened is somebody's realized, wait a minute, this is a little bit too cheap for Wendell Carter, and people started buying a little bit. He was down there in Orlando, and that may give him a little bit of a chance to play a little bit. We know they sent Vooch to Chicago midseason in some form of a swap for this multiplayer deal. Aaron Gordon's gone. So maybe he has a chance to put up some numbers in the upcoming season, and maybe people are speculating now, because now is the time. We can't wait for Wendell Carter to rattle off, 5 double games. For him, if he puts up 20 and 10, 5 games in a row, trust me, people are already searching for cards. So you probably want to have that early. Now, one interesting one here is Chris Middleton, who's still in the playoffs. And that's nothing against, Yaz. I don't want to skip over Yaz, but I am, just because I think Chris Middleton's a little bit more viable for the current scenario.
The Giants been great, and nobody's buying it. It's like, whatever. It's really cute. You guys have always wins, but yeah.
I like the Giants, but I'm just saying, Yaz may not be as relevant today as Chris Middleton is, especially we're recording this show on the night of the first NBA championship game. This is game 1 in Phoenix. And so if we look, he's up 60.18%. Min sale was $245.50. Max sale was $560, and it's only one card, right? And it's his 2012 Prism base. So I think this is a big deal. If Chris Middleton wins a championship, clearly his cards are going to spike a little bit, especially as they get a little bit closer. So I'm not a guy that I think we should be holding Chris Middleton long term. And it's nothing against Chris Middleton. It's just the fact that stars rule the cardboard space just like anything else. And so while Chris Middleton he's not a superstar, he's probably like he's an all-star, but trust me, in 20 years from now, we're not going to be rushing to pick up Chris Middleton cards. So in this particular case,
there's like nothing sexy about him, right? Is that the problem? Because he does everything well, but he's not incredible or anything. There's nothing flashy about him. There's nothing really stands out about Middleton.
Yeah. Solid really player, good. Just really good player. Yeah. And he can score the ball. I mean, listen, he's scoring 30+ points in the NBA on a regular basis. He's a good player, but he's not Giannis. He's not LeBron. He's not KD. He's not Kyrie. He doesn't have the star appeal. And sometimes, when you look at it, Dean, if you look across the landscape, star appeal is a big deal, right?
Sure.
Like Ja Morant was probably the best player coming out of that draft a couple years ago in terms of overall, in that moment. But Zion is still the star, right? and Zion's an exceptional player. I'm not trying to take anything away from Zion. I'm saying Ja Morant was a stud at that point. And, he won Rookie of the Year because he played more games and stuff like that. But Zion is still the star. And so the stars rule the day.
And those guys create highlights. Like Middleton, again, it's no knock on him, no knock on his game. He's really, really good. And people will argue with, like, a lot of people think he's great. A lot of people think he's kind of sort of average. And if you ever, he's a hot button guy on Twitter. And I think he's probably a top 20 player in the league. But you ever see like a Middleton highlight and be like, wow. Not really. John, you see it. Zion, you see it. Middleton,
I did see one from the last game where he got a guy, went baseline and went with a two-handed slam, but we don't get that too often from Chris. Yeah. Right? Chris is just a steady player. But that's what's going on with Chris. One other guy that I thought was really interesting, and this is a guy that I think we saw earlier here, Dean, and that's Dwayne Haskins. Up 42.72%, and we talked about it. He's no longer with Washington, and these are a couple different cards here. He sold one Prism Red, White, and Blue, one Optic Hollow for $99, but most of them are this Prism-based PSA 10, which are a lot cheaper than those. But the thing is, he's in Pittsburgh now, and so I think that's where the drawing power is with him currently. With him being in Pittsburgh, they have one of the largest fan bases in terms of NFL sales. Them, Dallas, the Washington
national teams.
Yeah, all those teams. Listen, it is what it is. The Giants. I know my Panthers aren't as popular as those teams, and that's just the way it is. I think a lot of that is contributing to some of these sales. Here's the other thing, Dean. If he comes in as a QB2, I'm almost positive he's going to play some. Ben just doesn't make it through full seasons anymore.
He's 39 years old. I'm sure you've seen the pictures of him like getting all wrapped up. He's got all sorts of bandages on him. They were showing him like throwing the ball like 30 yards, and like they were excited about that. I think he's toast. I agree with you. Of course, Haskins has been not good either, but this is a great as far as landing spots go. This is an awesome landing spot to get to this Pittsburgh offense, ready-made offense for sure. And the other part of it is, well, you're being proactive, right? As opposed to being reactionary. And like you said, like once Middleton or any player has hit those 4 or 5 good games, the market has adjusted. Like Wendell Carter, the market's adjusted. Now it's too late. And now you're trying to get in there before this actually happens. You're anticipating the possibility of Haskins having a shot, and that's all you need.
Yeah, that's literally all you need. And the other thing about it too, Dean, was for him to get a PSA 10 rookie, it wasn't that expensive. Like I'm looking at a men's sale of $30.88. That's not much. It costs that much just to even get the card graded with the current pricing scale. So to be able to pick up PSA 10s, for $30 of a player that, while we may think his career is over, what if he gets a legitimate shot in Pittsburgh, has some flashes of some upside? We don't know what coaching could do. We don't know what a change of scenery could do for a guy that may realize, hey, this could be it. If I don't make this work, this could be it. What if he comes in with a new attitude? So many things can happen because, like I said, I do anticipate Ben just being hurt at some point in the season. And I'm not saying he's out for the 5 games. It could be a game. It could be 2 games. But what if he comes in and shows some promise? He's got a shot. But also I think with guys like Dwayne Haskins and Chris Middleton, I do want to go back and revisit that 1 second. I feel like these are more profit opportunities. I'm not holding on to Dwayne Haskins, and I'm not holding on to Chris Middleton. And I do have a Chris Middleton card that I'm going to hold because he's local from my area. And it's an autographed rookie card of his that I have. And it's kind of unique because it's a clear card. So there aren't a whole lot that are going to be graded. So that one I'm going to keep. Anything else, Chris Middleton, I'm more than happy to get rid of it. And then while we're in the tool as well, Dean, I am going to just kind of flip down now to, who may have had some of the largest losses. And we saw this before the show. We did prep for this. So I see Dean smiling there. I'll let you rattle this off, Dean. But we got David Robinson at 26.54%.
What did he do wrong? He missed 0 shots this week, to my knowledge. Hall of Famer, the Admiral, seemed like a great dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a cycle, right? NBA is kind of, in the off season or headed towards the off season. So some of these vintage cars are going to lose a little bit of steam. Same thing with Randy Johnson. He didn't do anything either. In terms of overall as a player, his prices are down 21.76% on average. And then no secret here, I'm skipping over guys, but no secret that Kevin Huerter would be in this bunch as he just got eliminated. And we see right off the bat, boom, down 19% here. So
I
think
probably
that's
got a boost,
deal.
right? Like maybe a couple weeks ago, he was bumped up, and now
absolutely,
it's
Dean. There you go. See, yeah, he absolutely had a boost a few weeks ago, along with a couple other fringe guys that were playing a little bit more. We see Jimmy Butler's down, Deshaun Watson, Trae Young, of course, down 11%. And we see he's got a lot of liquidity, right, Dean? 336 sales in the past 7 days on Trae Young. Men's sale was $26. Max sale was $4,125. These are a lot of sales. I'm not even going to try to open that up, but I did want to kind of show that off. And then the other thing too, as you can see, I won't click these tabs, but we can look at last 14, last 30, last 60, and really kind of dive in because, and this is a statement from just the overall investment space in general, but when in doubt, zoom out, right? Like just because a guy's down 26% now, he could still be up 30% for the past 30 days, and you may still be in a profitable situation, but it is still good to look. So I will click that a little bit. Let's click last 14 days if it will go here.
Abrams got hurt, by the way. That's why he took a hit. He's a prospect for the Padres.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Not moving currently, Dean, so I'm not going to worry about it, but it probably will hop on there in a second. I know I've got a little bit of lag with the screen share. So sorry about that, folks. You just have to hang in there with us. But yeah, Dean, what other questions did you have? I did want to look at some golf players because I want to see where we were now that we've kind of got some majors going, another major this week, I think.
So Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, that's who you want to look up?
Yes, those golfers. I'm just kidding, Dean. But yeah, I did want to look at some golf because we're kind of in the thick of things. Golf is always going, and then look over the past 14 days. Sorry, it's already switched over, but we see here Chris Middleton's up 103%, Dean.
Oh wow!
I mean, which is just fantastic, and that's over the past 14 days. So really got some stuff there. Wendell Carter is still in the mix, 47. Yohan Moncada's up. Shohei Ohtani. I think you wanted to kind of look at Ohtani. He's up 41.4%. In the past 14 days, so he's kind of in the top. Altuve, Schwarber, you're starting to see a theme here, right? A whole lot of baseball players. Why? We're in the thick of the season. Jarrett Stidham's up, Pascal, Keston Hero, but overall, we're going to see here mostly baseball players. Yeah, mostly baseball players, and that makes a ton of sense, Dean, because now we're about what? We're not a fourth through, maybe a third through the season, something like that. No, baseball, a little bit more.
We just played the 81st game, so basically we're 50-50.
Yeah. There it is. So yeah, so that's where we're at. All-Star game is coming, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Ohtani's going to be showcased, obviously, and maybe if he and it's in Coors, so there should be a lot of home runs. Spoiler alert. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, I mean, if he wins it, I don't know how much, like, personally, I don't know who cares about that, but if the market cares about that, that's all that matters, right? Like, I don't know, in the thick of things, who really cares who wins home run derbies? They're just fun to watch and whatever, but you think the market will react to a potential Shohei Ohtani winner in the home run derby?
Well, I will say this. If he wins, I do think that's going to be very, very interesting. Because he's a guy that's already picked up a whole lot of steam. So for a guy to win it, I wish I could go back and kind of see what happened when Aaron Judge kind of won it. Because didn't Aaron Judge win the home run derby? I wish I could go back and kind of see what happened to what happened to his car prices. But I do think if he wins, I think he could see a spike. Because really, the home run derby is that's like the dunk contest of the MLB. Like, you want to see the home run derby. You want to see guys go out there and compete and have fun, and it's fun for them, So I'd love to see, Ohtani pull this off.
And it's stars doing it. Unfortunately, in the dunk contest, like, a lot of the stars just don't want to do it. They don't see the upside in it or whatever, and maybe they feel like they're just going to disappoint because we're spoiled. We've seen everything at this point. It's hard to impress in 2021 at this point as far as the dunk contest. We're just, they're still incredible what they're doing, but it's like, yeah, we saw it before. We saw that.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing too with the dunk contest. How much more? And I know you're saying, we've seen it all. I guess my question is from that perspective. Man, I love this show. We're just talking sports, which is great. How much more creative can guys get? And we say that, but Dean, every year we see someone push the limits, right? I think the best dunk contest in most recent times was absolutely Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine.
Yeah, that was good.
And so, that was one that was, I think, fantastic. We were able to see Aaron Gordon grab it and, wrap it around the back off of the mascot. I mean, just incredible feats. And so we're sitting here, we're saying, man, hey, what's going on? But, I think there's still a few more dunks in the tank that we could pull up. So
we've come a long way since the Kenny Smith bounced the ball on between your legs and turn around and dunk it, and somehow that's the winner.
Yeah, we've come a long way. We've come a long way, Dean. A long way. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm pulling up Tiger Woods here, Dean, because I know, Tiger got hurt, and then I do want to see kind of what's happened here with that kind of what we're going to call his iconic card, that upper deck base,
okay,
right, that kind of took off before a couple months ago, and we saw, like some crazy returns. People just buying these cards. Excuse me, they were flying off the shelves. And so I want to look and see, where we are there. And it's coming up. And as we can see, it's kind of trended down, right? Last sale looks like it was $307.99. That was, that's a loss of 51.2 cents. And then we see back in April, we were up to $631. Here's what I will say, Dean. I think if you want to get in on this Tiger Woods, maybe you get in now, or maybe it starts trending down even lower. My point is this. I don't think Tiger's completely done. I know he had a gruesome accident.
Yeah.
I think he still comes back and plays a little bit more, right? Even if he isn't concerned about placing, but just getting out there and playing a little bit. And
Does he have to? Like he doesn't. He's a legacy at this point. He doesn't.
No.
Have to,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think he has to. But I think maybe he wants to, just to kind of go out on his terms, right? We've seen all the greats do it. They go and play the Masters, all these guys. So I think he goes out on his terms, Dean. And the card does have a pretty high pop count, but I do think this could be a profitable venture by, picking up 2 or 3 of these. And when he comes back, maybe you get it, like I said, the last sale was $307. Maybe it gets back to $500-600. You can double your money, or 1.75x your money, maybe even triple your money if he comes back and wins some form of a tournament. So I definitely think the cards come down. I think if you'd like to buy into it at a PSA 10, I think this is a good one to have. And not even if he doesn't come back, I think it's still a good one for the collection. And he'll be around the game, I'm sure. You'll see him at the Masters every year talking, possibly handing out green jackets. So I think this is a good pickup for us.
By the way, I saw the Sports Illustrated for kids in there. I don't know if you know it. Did it not?
Yes.
I'm getting a flashback. I'm pretty sure our bosses, maybe Cam or some combination of Cam and Dan, bought that card. Am I making this up? I feel like that happened.
We're not making it up. Let's see.
I feel like I remember seeing a tweet with the –
yeah,
it came in the magazine, right? And just like it was like perforated and just kind of ripped it out.
Dude, I had all of those cards. I had them all.
Who threw it out?
I think I did.
Oh, okay.
Last sale, Dean, April 18th for $41,544.44. It's got a pop count of 26.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I had all of those cards, Dean, because I got Sports Card Illustrated magazine and ripped them out and had a good time. And boy, if I would have known now, if I could go back in time, I would not, because I don't want to relive my childhood. I had a fantastic childhood. I just enjoyed being an adult so much better. But at any rate, I absolutely would have kept my hands on these cards and ensured that I put them in a safe deposit box at a bank. My parents probably would have said at 12 years old, son, what are you doing? I said, look, I'm securing my future early. There's going to be this great thing that comes out called PSA, and they're going to grade cards, and DFS is going to come out. It's going to be amazing. They're going to think I'm a prophet of some sort, and I would be, because I would have traveled back in time, Dean.
Yeah, I did not have a Sports Illustrated or Sports Illustrated for kids, but I probably would not have had the same. I would not have had that foresight. I did collect sports cards as a child, but I don't remember, ever coming across that magazine. But of course, a history repeats itself. Like my father had that story. His mom threw out all of his cards in the basement or whatever they were. I have no idea. I think they used to put them like in spokes of bicycles. I'm told. I don't know why one would do that, but that was the story that I was told. Before we step aside and get out of here, you want to knock out a couple more players who would be interesting to look at. We're talking about the NBA Finals. Let's see if you can pull it up on the fly. You want to see what Chris Paul is up to?
Yeah, let's see where our good friend Chris Paul is. And Chris Paul, a lot of his rookies aren't going to be high pop counts, which is interesting. My assumption, and let's go Topps Chrome, because I know that's going to be, let's go Topps Chrome and Topps and see what we get there. But he shouldn't have a whole lot of pop counts on his coming from 2005. So we would probably see a lot more PSA 9s for him. So that's probably what I need to do. As you can see, pop count 224 on the Topps, pop count 243 on the Topps Chrome. And as we see here, kind of been trading flat. Nothing's really moved too much. He was actually a lot higher back in April at $2,121. The most recent sale, $1,525. Could actually be a profitable opportunity, Dean. If he's able to pull off a championship here in this spot, I definitely think his card prices would spike a little bit. And then we look back on the Topps, PSA 10 was $750 back in April, and now it's $625. So, a loss of about 16.7%, at least according to market movers. And I think that may trend back up if he has some good games here. You would have thought maybe after that game 6 closeout, or 7, was it game 6? Yeah, after that game 6 closeout that, maybe he would have seen a spike, but, haven't really seen much. And I think that's just because Chris Paul really isn't, while he's been a long-term player in the NBA and kind of a star, the point guard in his own right, his cards just really haven't been popular. But I do think I probably need to pick one of these up just for history purposes. He's been a good player in the league for a while.
This is just surprising. I figured it would jump up just in anticipation of a potential championship, and we haven't really seen that. That seems odd.
I'm going to pull up Devin Booker as well.
Yeah, let's
and he's a guy that I know we've looked at before, but I do want to pull it up just see where he's going in terms of the championship run here. And I'm just going to pull up the base prism, and then I guess I'll pull up the court side select. Now those are two kind of different brands, and I'm going to pull up PSA 9 and PSA 10 on this just to see if I can get more hits on that court side. But let's pull up Booker. And so, yeah, we were able to get them all. So Booker, as we can see here in the PSA Prism base, PSA 10 Prism base, PSA 10 last sale was $1,050. So, pretty much right there. If we look at the purple, that's another Prism base, which that's a PSA 9, was at $345. And then if we look at the select court side, which is kind of their level up there, last sale on that only has a pop count of 38, $1,999. And so that's kind of where we're at with that one. And then if we scroll down and look at the orange, that's the courtside PSA 9. And that one was, let's see if we can grab it. I'll scroll down and look, Dean, and then we can close it out from here. PSA 9 last sale was $415, and that was on June 13th. Only has a pop count of 20, though, so there's not a lot of those out there, which those should be, be able to attract a lot more value, especially if Phoenix stays in the thick of things.
All right, yeah, like you said, we're going to cut it off here. We're up against the clock as well. I think we did a pretty good job showing off what's going on here as far as the market movers tool. And like you said, we can get lost into it, and you can just one player you can spend a half hour on just kind of jumping around as far as all the cards and what the movement it's done the last so many months based upon certain events. But a general thought, is this what's your favorite thing to do with market movers? Your favorite thing, is it as far as finding value, seeing what's overpriced, what you need to get rid of? What's your favorite thing to do as far as when you use the tool? What do you find most useful about it?
Yeah, I think for me, it's what we're doing. We pull up the charts and pull up the players, right? So when we pulled up the players at first, we didn't have the charts, but believe it or not, Dean, there's a feature on there. We can pull the chart up directly from the player. which I think is fantastic. So I actually think that's probably my favorite thing. So instead of saying, hey, let me pull up Devin Booker, I can say, hey, who are the players that are maybe the percentages have gone up dramatically? And then look at the players where their percentages have gone down dramatically. And then I can pull the card chart right up from that particular segment. I know I didn't demonstrate that today, but we'll be on Cardboard again next week with Jeff. And so maybe that's something we can show off. But I think that's another beautiful part of the tool. That's probably one of my favorite things, being able to pull the chart from the players that I'm looking at.
Jeff, of course, runs SCI, Sports Card Investor. The promo code, once again, is Grinders. You get 20% off the first payment for a month or for the entire year. I presume Tambo will be back next week as well. He's on assignment this week. That said, I think hopefully the people learned something, or took one or two nuggets as far as how to invest, how to use the market movers tool, and it was a good time. I enjoyed it, Will, and we'll be back next week. That was Chief Justice. This was Card Stock After Lock. We're out of here. Holler.